Counts is gonna read. Counts is gonna read.
Vicious emotional blackmail.
A bunch of people trying to attack him, but he's just playing too good.
I'll do the intro. I don't even know.
Do you want to?
Welcome, Mangwar's Welcome to this podcast. It's pretty great.
All right, ladies and gents, welcome to Metagaming with Mangwar. Currently, we're missing Mangwar, but hopefully she'll be able to join us in a little bit.
Yeah, she's had some problems with her teleportation scroll.
Yes, her teleportation scroll is now functioning. Such a nerd.
I know.
Such a nerd. But it's an exciting episode because we have our very first guest star, Celeste Campbell. Her links are going to be in the description of the podcast. You can check her out. She's an amazing artist and storyteller, friend of ours for many years at this point. Been playing D&D together for just as long. That's how we met.
Yeah.
So, yeah, one of the OGs, I think, technically. Yeah.
That makes me feel good.
Yes, yes. And we're going to be talking about Bards and their secret power that they have in the game, but specifically Celeste's Bard character. Celeste, go ahead and give us a bit of a rundown on Sparrow, kind of her class, her subclass, how you built her, why you built her. Tell us all about her.
I started playing Dungeons and Dragons with these guys because I started dating a really cute boy who was already playing Dungeons and Dragons with them.
He'll be our next guest.
Yeah. And I was so head over heels for him. And I had played Dungeons and Dragons a little bit in high school, but I honestly didn't like it very much because I had all these crazy ideas of things I wanted to do. And I got with the people I was with, and they were like, nope, you can't do that. Nope, you can't do that. And I was like, I don't think I like this. And I never played again. Until, yeah.
You got kind of a sour GM.
Yeah.
Was shutting you down.
I was really into drawing dragons, so I had drawn this butterfly dragon. I showed up to the first game. I was like, I want to be this. And he's like, you can't be that. And I was like, well, I don't want to play then. Bye.
Remember, Dungeon Masters, it's roleplay. It's improv. You're supposed to yes and, okay? Make it work. Okay, so what was the difference between that one and then when you started playing with Chase?
Well, playing with Chase, I really wanted to do anything to spend time with him.
So I'll make it work.
Yeah, I'll make it work. And I hope he doesn't mind me saying this, but the first time we ever played with you guys, I didn't have a good time.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Do you remember what we were doing?
It was a one-shot.
Okay.
And I was an Awesomar, and it was a dungeon dive. There was a treasure. I'm trying to remember. It was like in a desert. Do you remember that?
Yes. I remember. That was a bit of a crazy game.
Yeah, and I didn't have a very good time, and Chase and I got in a little bit of an argument about it afterwards.
So what turned it around? What changed D&D in your perspective? Because that's 2 in a row.
Yeah, like, yeah.
But obviously things turned around.
Things turned around actually when my character got involved in the story.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, then I was like, actually, this is really fun because I love being creative. I love writing stories. When I was in high school and junior high, I'd get online and get on online forums, and I would do role-playing, but like writing role-playing. So I really liked role-playing, and I liked group storytelling, but I think I felt limited by Dungeons & Dragons, and maybe I didn't have the right groups, But then once my character got involved in the story, I started to feel like I started to bond with you guys. And I know that when I first came in, I was a little bit shy too.
Yeah, a lot of times when you're first starting playing D&D, you're like waiting for permission for something. You're like waiting for somebody to give you a cue when to come in, and like the DM is sort of like, handling everything, and you're just kind of like wondering how you fit in. So how did you Like, was it just your character became part of the story that kind of broke the ice there, or did your actions sort of break the ice there?
It was definitely a process. My character becoming more a part of the story was really helpful, but there was also a point where you forced me to be center stage. And that was really, really great for me because I think I have a hard time in general in my life, not just in D&D, really like stepping forward and speaking my truth.
I think a lot of people.
Yeah. So that was huge for me, and that's when I really started to fall in love with Dungeons and Dragons.
Right. You're just like, oh man, my actions have
Yeah.
a ripple effect. Was that with Sparrow or was that with the previous
That was
character?
Sparrow.
That was with Sparrow. Was that when she was kind of doing like, she had the opportunity of doing like her tour and everything like that?
No, that was when you made me go on a solo mission.
Oh yeah, in the Sky City!
Yeah.
So, as you can tell, this campaign was really fun. We had a lot of fun with it. But let's go into Sparrow as a character. So, you're building Sparrow for the campaign. Mm-hmm. Do you remember what you were thinking in the process of building her and how it was sort of different when you actually started playing her?
Yes. So,
like, what were you going for when you started writing out?
I really wanted to build a character who was super feminine and not very violent, because that's me. I'm a lover. I'm not a fighter. And also at the time I was engaged to Chase. So I really wanted to build a character that went with his character because I thought that would be really fun. So I wanted to make a character who was a super support to him. And I start building my character, and I have no idea how this will go because I haven't played a lot of Dungeons and Dragons. But every time I'm picking spells, I only pick spells that are helping my friends and supporting and for role playing, and I don't pick not even one thing that does damage.
Not a single damage.
No,
not even a cantrip.
No, nothing did damage. And in fact, for a while, I wasn't even using Vicious Mockery because I was like, I don't know if it fits my character to even do that. But then later on, I realized that maybe it could be Vicious Guilt Trip.
Vicious Guilt Trip,
yeah.
A reskinning.
Yeah, the reskinning. And it was like, why would you hurt us?
Vicious conscious.
Yeah.
Like,
vicious emotional blackmail.
And Sparrow had 2 kills in the game, and they were both singing ancient creatures to sleep that wanted to die.
Oh yeah, there was a big stone dragon that woke up and was not supposed to wake up. He had like gone into his final slumber. And then, different things were happening. And you're saying, who was the second one?
The Titan.
The Titan.
There was a Titan at the very end of the game.
Remember in the
yeah.
cave with the
Yes.
Gypso Sphinx.
You were like a bedside nurse.
I know, right?
He was great, though. I think Sparrow was an incredibly gentle and empathetic character, for sure, for sure. A lot of players that I know, especially new ones, feel nerfed when they're not doing enough damage. Did you ever at any point in the campaign feel like you were kind of not being as useful as you could be because you didn't have a lot of damage?
No, not at all, because I didn't know how that would be, and I was worried that I'd feel like that. But pretty much, I was worried before I started playing the campaign that I might feel like that, but pretty much the first or second game, I realized how useful Sparrow was. There were so many times, and you guys can let me know.
Yeah, let's dredge up some of these. There's a lot to choose from. I have at least 3.
There was a lot of moments where everyone's like, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? And I'm looking through my spell list, and I'm like, oh!
I got this. Like, the Golden City was one of them. It was like, why are we going to wait for the elevator? I can just fly us up there. Whoop! And it was just a whole part of the challenge.
Yeah, my favorite one of the whole game is at level 14, I got this ability that if a bad guy tried to attack me, I could just bat my eyelashes and say, please don't attack me. And they had to make a charisma save to be able to attack me.
And that's a glamour bard.
Yeah, I was a glamour bard.
Specifically, yeah. Okay, guys. I gotta tell you, this is the one. This is definitely, as the GM for this specific campaign, I have to make a comment about this specific ability because it was such a thorn in my side. Because I was always, picking on one character or another. Whoever would have the most emotional impact for being in trouble, I would go for. And since, Sparrow and Halcyon, Chase and Celeste are like the dynamic duo, at the point that you guys went into the Lich's lair at the bottom of the prison, you were separated for a moment. And there was hordes of skeletons trying to get at you, but their saving throw was so low that you basically walked all the way through this immense, what I had planned to be, a party level challenge for the whole party to get through this immense horde of skeletons. They couldn't touch you. Not a single one. I freaking love and hate that at the same time. You could do so much with that. You could be the bard walking into like the royal throne room or something like that. None of the guards can make their wisdom saving throw to even arrest you, and you just walk right up to the king and speak your mind. So many different opportunities of using that specific ability for some epic shit.
What's the name of Rick's arch nemesis in Rick and Morty? The one that can control the police? Do you remember that?
I don't remember his name, but I remember.
You remember that guy?
Exactly
That's what
you're
it makes me
talking
think of. Where you just gonna walk in and be like,
and they all it's only police officers too. They just go into weird ecstasy in his presence. Yeah, it's kind of like that.
That was basically Sparrow. Everyone just couldn't control themselves.
Yeah, she was too fabulous. She was too pretty.
Yeah, just too pretty for even the freaking mindless undead to be able to touch.
Well, I just remember thinking there was this big boss, and I just had this thought hey, you guys, why don't you guys go fight the boss, and I'll distract the entire army.
Come with me, skeletons. And they're all like, I'm going to kill you, I'm going to kill you. And you're like,
I'm just
too pretty.
dancing. What's wrong, guys?
You know what would be super OP?
What?
Getting the feat, not the feat, the spell command duel and having that. So, you pick the biggest bad boss and you're like, no, you can only focus on me, but good luck hitting me.
Yeah. Good luck finding the mental strength to actually swing that sword.
Yeah.
At little old me.
And because you're a bard, you can tap into other classes.
Yep. Yeah, you can pick, Well.
That would be pretty. You can only do it in certain classes, but
Lore
I'd
bard.
have to look.
So,
no, I
you
think
wouldn't be
it's
able to have
bard.
both, right? Let us know in the comments which one it is.
Is Cass
that
crazy?
Lore bard? Is Cass
Or
crazy?
is Jared?
I mean, we'll look it up on
I
our
thought
own,
it
but
was all bards, because isn't that the...
I thought that was just part of the level up at Bards.
I have a feeling that it's just Lore Bard that gets to dip into other classes.
I want to say it's the jack of all trades feat, but that does a different thing. That gives you skill.
That gives you proficiencies. And
I
then
do have a
half
player's
proficiency
handbook about
and the other stuff. Go ahead and grab it.
5 feet away from me.
Yes.
Cass is gonna read. Cass is gonna read a thing.
One of the other things that was nice about it is anything that would have seriously challenged Sparrow would not have challenged Halcyon, Chase's character.
Yeah, so you guys have a really good duo dynamic balance.
And anything that would have really threatened him, she could have helped him to overcome.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's why it was one of the funnest things to do was to kidnap your character. Because when you have the dynamic duo, you gotta split them up.
Yeah. And you guys did that on a Sunday night, and I go to school the next day, and I did not expect how bad that was going to shake me up.
Oh, no.
So I'm at school, and I was like, I got kidnapped last night.
Your schoolmates are like, what?
Yeah.
Oh no, just
Don't worry,
pretend.
it was just a game. But oh man.
Just a game.
Just a game.
I mean, it wasn't just a game. I'm kind of emotionally scarred from it, but yeah.
It is the level up to level 10 for every bard.
Oh,
Magical
okay.
secrets. You can choose 2 spells from any class, including this one.
All right, all you glamour bards out there, remember, compelled duel. You get at level 10, you get to dip into other classes. Go ahead and grab that.
You get
that
to
pally spell
at level 10, 14, and 18.
and dare the enemy to hit you. Of course, make sure that they have a low wisdom saving throw first,
Charisma.
or charisma saving throw.
Yeah.
If they got a good, don't do it to sorcerers or paladins.
Mm-mm.
They'll mess you up. But skelly hordes, You're good. You're fine. So, was there any other part of just playing a bard, or specifically glamour bard, that was kind of like surprisingly powerful for you? Like,
yeah, she had absolute control over the battlefield because the glamour bard specifically, you can use your inspiration to allow all of your party members to move up to their speed without provoking opportunity attacks on your turn right in the moment.
immediate mobility on the battlefield for everybody in your party.
There was a moment where we were like, how are we going to get out of this? We were stuck, and I was like, oh, bye!
And you were an Eldrin.
Yeah.
So you had your own little
I had
face
my own
step.
face step.
Well,
mobility
we were
stuff.
trying to teleport or something. We're like, okay, everyone hold your action to get to so-and-so on your turn, and we can get out of here. And you're like, we can
I was
just
like,
move
we could
right
just
now.
go now.
Got this, guys. It's a bonus action for me.
Yeah, we could do it that way. Or...
Yeah, I remember there might have even been more than one sort of GTFO situation that you guys were in. Sparrow was just like, here's the door. Come on through.
Yeah.
So great. So great. Don't shirk the bards, you guys. They are super powerful.
No, I think I actually learned that playing a support character is my favorite, which I never thought. I always thought when I'm playing D&D, I want to be the hero. Yeah, but no, playing Sparrow was awesome.
Yeah, it was always like, there was like sort of like that hero moment, but it was usually, those people that are like burst damage, like, Halcyon chases Paladin, or like the fighter or whatever. But then there was always the MVP spot. And I feel like Sparrow got that most of the time. Because if you like look back at the different battles, there was like these very pinnacle moments where the enemy had done something that had really messed up plans. And who fixed it? Probably at least 6 or 7 times out of 10. It was Sparrow in that campaign. She was the mom.
Sparrow was definitely the mom of the group.
She was the mom of the group. That leads me to the next question. Like, in terms of role play, what was interesting and fun about being like a glamour bard in a role play aspect with like the rest of these, some of them meatheady, murder hobos.
Yeah, she was the compassionate one in the group, and there was definitely... I remember we got into a bar fight, and Sparrow completely stopped the bar fight. She stopped everyone.
You're all grounded.
Yeah, all of them.
Everybody's in timeout right now.
And Halcyon, he was the group leader, but I think sometimes he was a little bit stubborn in his ways.
I do remember when he joined like the military. You guys were military mercenaries for a little bit. And he started to lean heavy into like the violent side. So what allowed you to sort of turn him around? Was it mechanics, or was it more just like the role play? Being that pacifist?
Definitely the role play, being a pacifist. Actually, there was a lot of powers that Sparrow had that would have been very powerful that I didn't use because it didn't really fit her character. Because glamour bards are kind of built to be master manipulators. So if there was a dark side to Sparrow, she would have been actually more powerful. But morally, I wasn't using some of the things that she had because she just wouldn't have done that. But role play wise, I definitely wasn't the group leader. I wasn't the loudest voice. And sometimes I think that was me as a player feeling shy. But I feel like there were plenty of moments where I had a gentle touch, especially to Halcyon, to be able to, let's think about this, pull back a little bit, and I think that really helped the group.
What about your fellow players, Cass? What is...
Well, I was thinking, while she was talking, like, there were multiple times I remember in that campaign, like, having to make a hard decision, and then our characters would be like, Sparrow, what do you think? Like...
There's like 4 or 5 different opinions all going at the same time. Well, what are we going to do? And all heads turn to Sparrow.
Another thing that came to my mind also is Sparrow... when I was first building her, she was my first character I was going to play a whole campaign into, so I spent a lot of time thinking what her ideals were, and one of them that was really important was hope. And there were a lot of fights that I remember as a player feeling scared that I'm going to lose my character, and everyone's like really nervous, but then I thought, my character has an ideal that's hope. So there are many times that I remember saying, guys, we can do this. We've got this. And everyone kind of relaxes, and we did it every time.
Yeah.
We did it.
Did you have the leadership feat, or was that?
I did.
Oh, okay.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you had like they got 10 HP when you would like give a speech and stuff.
I know. I remember whenever we were about to go into that's why I was wondering about the feat. Whenever we were about to go to a expected big fight, we'd always be like, okay, hold on, let Sparrow say something.
No, but I actually genuinely feel like the players themselves were feeling really nervous. And I was feeling nervous too, but then I remembered that's my role in the group.
Yeah.
So I'm like, patting Thomas on the back, it's okay, we'll be all right, it's okay. And I'm sweating bullets, but I have to do this because this is my role in the group.
Do you have any moments that you remember from the campaign where Sparrow, specifically as a character, had like a major turning point? And why was it that moment for her kind of to change and shift as a person and kind of develop as a character?
I can think of two really specific moments. The first one was, and I'll circle back to this because we talked about it a little bit earlier, was Jarrett forced me to go on a solo mission, and that was a huge growing point for me as a person.
Yeah, I do, yes.
He did force me to go on a solo mission because up until that point, I felt like I was a little shy to speak up in the group. And so then I had to do everything, and I remember playing and physically getting so nervous. I remember touching my face, and it was burning because I was so nervous.
I did think that was like a nervous tick you would...
Yeah.
Okay, and you'd be like thinking about something, and your hands would come up like this.
Yeah, and I'm like, I'm so nervous.
Okay, your eyes are darting around, you're assessing everything. I thought it was your thinking face.
No, my face was physically burning because I was so nervous. And I feel like after the solo mission, not only was I able to come out of my shell more in the group, but Sparrow started speaking up more. So that was a turning point for her. And then the other turning point was Halcyon got killed by was it a demon? And it was a demon. And we brought him back, but his soul was corrupted and he had a bloodlust. And that was and so Sparrow ended up figuring out about it by going into his dreams and learning about the bloodlust, and he didn't know that he had it. And it put a little bit of a wrench in their relationship, but she had to really confront it when they were in this trial, and there was a being that was giving me this trial, and it gave me a fake Halcyon that was in trouble. And I was so determined to save Halcyon that I never realized it was a fake Halcyon until it was too late. And that, like, for me as a person, made me think, am I losing myself in Chase? I've always been a really, really loving person, and that is, Sparrow's like almost a manifestation of I'm so loving. Mm-hmm. Right. But it was this showing me there's a point where you love people too much.
Right, you're giving too much.
Giving too much, and that felt like a slap in the face, to be honest with you. And it was, I need to take care of myself. I can't put other people in front of me, including my husband. And that was really hard, not only for Sparrow, but for me too. Because Sparrow feels like such a part of me, even though I wasn't trying to play myself. I was trying to explore this idea, but
it happens.
It definitely happens.
It'll get you.
It'll get you.
Yeah.
You never know when it's happening.
I remember I had sent you a journal and been like, I would do anything to save Halcyon. And then that happened this game after, and I remember wondering, I'm like, he used my journal against me.
Hell yeah, I did. How do you think I get the inspiration?
That's why Dungeon Masters love journals so much.
That's why I give nobody anything.
I don't know. Have we talked about journal entries on the podcast before?
I don't know if we have.
So this is like a home rule that you can do if you want as Dungeon Masters. If you're kind of needing a little bit more insight into your characters, you can offer inspiration points in exchange for sort of a journal entry. And they can go full on role play like Dear Diary and write it in the perspective of their character. Or you can just have them say like, here's where my character is mentally and physically. Here's what they're wanting. You can kind of gain a perspective of like what they're wanting and looking for in the game itself as players, as well as kind of what the character needs to accomplish in order to get what they want. But then, yes, there is that other side of it where you can be like, you do anything, eh? how inevitable sadistic side of being a dungeon master comes out, and you're just like, all right, let's see if you mean it.
I meant it.
And then it was a learning experience. Yeah. And so, yeah, I definitely set that up as like some sort of trap, but there was no intention on my part for you to like have some sort of like big real world lesson out of it. But I think it's so great, and it just shows me how beautiful this game is that you did kind of come away from it like, I think I need to reassess the way that I love people so that it's not so consuming, you know? That's awesome. Well, let's talk about just bards in general. So you played a pacifist bard who's sort of more of a, like, you didn't take the forefront. A lot of the generic bards that we see in both media and now that the D&D movie's out, in both media and in other games, are these very flamboyant, front and center, persuasive, blah, 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 blah. What other kind of bards do you think we could come up with? Other than, like, you know, we have our glamour bards that could be evil. I liked your evil glamour bard idea. I kind of want to explore that as, like, a potential PC for myself. But, like, what kind of combos do you guys think? This is off the script, but what kind of combos do you think you could do, or just ways of playing a bard that's apart from the norm, that's like, I'm a bard, that means I have to have sex with everything. Very much not the way Sparrow played,
half
but at
orcs
the same time,
and half elves and dragonborn.
yeah, I'm the reason there's a half in front of a lot of race names. Like,
I haven't done this, but I really love the idea of playing a bard who's a dancer. And I don't really know how you'd go about it. I played another character who was a dancer, and I made her a monk. So just kind of reskinning the dancing as the fighting. Oh, okay. But I'd love to explore how to make a bard and really leaning to dancing instead of anything else.
Yeah. I always love the percussionist bard, like a half orc.
Oh, your war
with
drummer?
Like a war drum.
Yeah.
Who just starts to, like, you ever heard drums, like those big Chinese drums? Any sort of drum pattern that, like, it makes you feel something. If there's something primal there, like there's something that touches your soul in like a caveman part of you. I don't know. I don't have any Neanderthal in me, but like I want to do kind of a bard that just like taps into that and sort of, it's not necessarily a rage, but when he starts playing, you can't help but get pumped up. You know, just do. I would love to explore that. I don't know what kind of subclass it would be though. That would be like that inspiring of a leader type of bard.
Well, it could be a glamour bard.
Yeah.
Because they are there to manipulate emotion.
Right.
Basically.
Yeah, and he could just be like standing there and a bunch of people trying to attack him, but he's just playing his drums too good.
Can't touch this.
We gotta kill him, but the beat's too fire.
I was looking at a homebrewed subclass the other day for a bard, and it was a luchador bard.
What?
Like the full-on wrestling persona bard. And I was like, hell yeah, that sounds freaking sick. Like running into battle and be like, don't worry, my companions, we shall crush them with our power. Like, you know, evil powers. How fun would that be?
You did a bard, what was her name with the cursed swords?
Oh, Maggie Marguerite.
Yeah,
right?
what was
College
her
of
subclass?
Swords.
College of Swords.
And she was a sword dancer. That was her background.
So what was it like kind of playing that? Like
it was fun. Originally I had intended to use the dancing aspect more, but a lot of stuff happened right out of the gate in that campaign.
That's
and that
true.
kind of took a backseat.
It was a busy campaign. Yeah.
But yeah, it was fun. She was my multi-class because she was part bard, part fighter.
Right, for the damage.
Yeah, for the damage, and it was hella fun.
You were a glass cannon.
I was. I could die very easily.
But you had that. What was it? It was some sort of ability that would raise your armor class.
It was one of the
amount?
sword things. I'm trying to remember what it was.
You would cover your ass though, like it would.
I would basically get. The College of Swords was already kind of a dip into a fighter-esque bard class anyways, right. So I got kind of like superiority dice like you would with a fighter, but specifically for the College of Bards, and I could use it to give myself certain enhancements. One of them was raising my AC, one of them was giving me extra damage, and so blah, 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 blah. A lot of extra stuff. I could do a butt ton of damage in one turn, especially if I was hasted.
Oh, man. And you could just haste yourself.
I know.
Because you're a freaking bard.
I know.
Guys,
It
don't
was
sleep
pretty
on
great.
Bard. I don't know how many times I can say this. Don't sleep on Bard. You done a Bard?
Yeah, Ophelia was a bard.
Ophelia was more of like a rock and
She
roll.
was the Valor bard
Right.
who didn't have a voice. But
Right.
yeah.
For a
So
while.
she had a magical weapon or a magical
Instrument.
instrument. There we go. That sang for her, but yeah, she was more rock and roll. In fact, she was in the same campaign as Sparrow,
Yeah.
and we kind of made a yin yang out of it, where she was the Song of Spring, and I was the Sound of Silence. Obviously, couldn't use that.
Love it. Yeah, I
couldn't
couldn't
use that in a movie, but
still so great. Such a great title for like a dynamic duo, performance duo.
Yeah.
Where you were more of like the punk rock, grunge, just a drop of goth, maybe a little bit.
And Sparrow had pink hair. And
Yeah.
she had antlers that had cherry blossoms on them.
Ultra feminine,
Yeah.
Feywild,
Yeah.
infernal rock and roll. But then you would perform together and people would just lose their minds.
Yeah.
Because you'd give each other advantage on the checks and then your performance checks are already out of this world. So you basically just like revolutionized the music industry overnight.
Pretty much.
And
Sparrow had like a plus 19 to her performance and her persuasion by the end.
my only bard, Jackie Daytona. He was your quintessential bard.
yeah.
Yeah. He didn't really do a lot of bardic stuff in the sort of. He didn't bone everything because there just wasn't enough time.
I think that was more to do with how the campaign was run.
Yeah, we got swept up. It was another busy campaign, but I mean, if he had that at the time, so it's still fun to play that kind of bard. But sometimes you want to play bard, but you don't want to play the quintessential bard, and it's good to have other ideas. I think we came up with a
I've
lot.
always wanted to do kind of like what you were saying, the evil version, a worm tongue-esque. Like,
How would you do a
in the
worm tongue
shadows.
as a bard?
well,
You're like, you go around corrupting kings and.
Oh, you're
Lords.
like the conciliary.
Yeah.
You
Well,
whisper in the ear.
well, isn't there's like a mastermind rogue or something?
Yeah.
You could dual class, do the, I don't know, find a subclass of bard that...
Mastermind Rogue and Glamour Bard.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh my god!
How
that
baller
would
would that be?
Great. You'd be good at everything, because you get your rogue expertise and stuff. You also get expertise as a bard,
But you also get
and
jack of all
jack
trades.
of all trades. So even if you don't have expertise in it, you get half of your proficiency in everything. Jeez Louise! All right, guys, have fun breaking your campaign. Send your DM our way when he inevitably
Wait.
freaks out and gets mad at you. What?
Barbarian. We didn't talk about it.
Okay. Well, the drummer, the drummer idea for me, so like when he does need to swing his big old drumsticks, he's gonna hit you hard. Maybe they screw together. Like,
I did a barbarian for a one-shot that we did. Do you remember him? It was
Is that the dwarf?
Mac McTavish.
Yeah. Mac Fish Tab.
I don't know if it was just the subclasses that I did, but they did not mesh together well at all.
It's kind of like a light switch. You
I
got
know.
a full switch to
Yeah.
one or the other.
It's
with
one
the
or the other.
barbarian.
The abilities that you get for each individual class don't really harmonize.
There's
very
not
well.
like a passive interaction between
Yeah.
the abilities.
Yeah.
But I still think it's a fun combo to play.
It is a fun combo. You could probably find a way to make it work. Maybe do like a homebrewed bard class or something.
I almost
Yeah.
feel like Bard is so good all on its own that it's just hard to multi-class it.
We did have an idea of doing like a traveling musician adventuring group that are all bards.
The Von Trapps. I
Yeah.
still want to do a Von
Fun.
Trapp campaign because you can cover almost all the bases just with bards.
Yeah, like you can dual class But you have to have at least one level of.
Well, I don't even think you need to dual class because there's so many different colleges.
If you want to,
yeah.
Like the Valor, that's your fighter.
But that is a campaign I would like to do someday. Maybe not a full-on, like, our year-long campaign.
Yeah,
but
like
we could say
4 weeks,
3 to
5
6
weeks.
months.
Yeah.
Whatever. The only criteria is that you have to have like at least 5 levels in Bard or something.
I want to do that. I'm down.
All right. Well, any final thoughts about Bards? Any other dual classes that we haven't mentioned that should definitely be mentioned?
I mean, I dual classed a ranger into College of Swords, just 3 levels, and that worked pretty well. That was pretty good.
Meshed well.
Yeah.
How did they work together?
It's been a minute, but the College of Swords just gave me a few extra things that I could do because my ranger could fight with a sword as well as a bow and arrow.
Right.
And then I could give.
You were talking about College of Swords having like sort of that strange like superiority die, but they're not necessarily. Yeah. I feel like that would mesh.
You would
College of Swords
basically
would
use
mesh with any martial
It was
class.
your bardic inspiration abilities.
Right.
But you could do some of the things that like a superiority dice would do instead of just giving people bonuses.
Right, yeah. So that subclass specifically I think would mesh well with like your barbarian as well.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's called College of Swords, so you kind of want it to be more of like a sword dancer, but
I gotta find
you
that
don't
really
have to.
Shadora one.
Man's all in.
All right, guys. Let us know in the comments if we got anything wrong. Feel free to correct us. We really don't care if that comes. Also, let us know any crazy bard builds that you've done and the adventures that they've gone through. Dual classing, we love to hear all about it. Remember to check out Celeste Campbell's social media and all her stuff. Check her out. She's really great, really talented. We love the crap out of her. And yeah. And that's how we'll end it. You're late. We started without you, you geet.
Yeah, I
we're
have to leave at
literally
4.
rolling right now.